In December 2003, Rio Ferdinand was banned from football for 8 months for missing a drug test at the club's training ground, ruling him out of Euro 2004 in Portugal and severely jeopardizing his country's chances. It was a moment that shocked the football world, particularly the then world's most expensive defender, infuriated Manchester United, and almost led to a strike by the England team. The English game has never had an incident like it since, and even now, feelings are raw. Rio Ferdinand has once said he will never forgive them for the way he was treated, adding that people had done worse and very similar to what he had done and didn't get treated like that. Sir Alex Ferguson was equally livid as the then Man United manager wrote in his autobiography in 2013 that his indignation endures to this day. So, this is the story of that missed drugs test. The date is Tuesday, 23rd September 2003. Manchester United have just finished a morning training session, waiting for the players as they trooped into their Carrington headquarters, where representatives of UK Sport there to conduct a routine drugs test. Nicky Butt, Ryan Giggs and John O'Shea had been selected at random by the testers, along with Ferdinand, who had joined the club from Leeds United for a then world record £30 million in July 2002. The players were allowed to shower after training before providing a urine sample. However, Ferdinand left before doing so. A former United official who wished to remain anonymous told the Athletic newspaper that Rio was personable, articulate, open but notoriously quite dreamy on things like media duties. So it was entirely in character that he would forget. In Rio Ferdinand's book My Story, which published in 2006, he said, "I knew that forgetting was a pretty lame defense for my actions, but it was the truth. I never remember anything." He was later photographed shopping in Manchester City Centre, where he said he was buying bed linen. The 45-year-old now eventually made contact with the club later that day and offered to return and take the test, but was told it was too late. He did provide a negative test 2 days later, but that time, however, the damage had been done. 2 weeks after the missed test, England had an important Euro 2004 qualifier in Istanbul against Turkey, and the point in their last group game would be enough to book Sven Goran's side a place at the tournament. But it was not going to be straightforward. The home crowd were preparing a hostile atmosphere with no away fans permitted to attend. Even the England staff members and non-selected players were made to wear unbranded coats to keep a lower profile. But even that tension didn't hog the headlines in the build-up. Instead, the media was focused purely on Ferdinand and the English Football Association's decision to drop him from the squad. The FA had told Manchester United that Ferdinand would not be selected for the match a week before. On Sunday, 5th October 2003, United's lawyer and David Gill, the club's chief executive, met with David Davis, the FA's executive director, and FA lawyer Nick Coward at Davis' Worcestershire home in what was later dubbed the Battenberg Summit. Davis told our source of this story, The Athletic, that it was a sunny October afternoon and my wife took Rio for a walk in our field and then offered him a tea and a cake in the kitchen while I discussed the situation with David Gill and Maurice Watkins around my dining room table. I had the unfortunate job of having to tell Rio that, in the circumstances, we couldn't take him to Turkey. He was understandably very upset about it. I wasn't sure I understood the seriousness of it all, and that was one of the most upsetting periods I had at the FA because I lacked Rio. The England squad announcement for the match was twice delayed. Publicly, this was attributed to Mike Owen struggling with an injury, but in reality, it was down to the FA's hard stance on Ferdinand. They decided the 24-year-old at the time couldn't be selected while the disciplinary process was underway. Sven Goran Eriksson, the England manager, was caught in a sticky position, but his loyalty was to his players. Recalling the moment he found out, Eriksson said, "The FA told me you cannot use him." Eriksson revealed that Ferguson told him that if Rio doesn't play, the others will not play. As Ferguson predicted, Ferdinand's omission by the FA resulted in a mutiny by the England players who were gathered at the Sopwell House Hotel in Hertfordshire, led by his Manchester United teammate Gary Neville, dubbed Red Nev by the press. They said they wouldn't play unless Ferdinand was reinstated. There was extra spice as UEFA had made it clear to the FA that if England didn't play the Turkey game, they would be kicked out of Euro 2004. Neville, who was acting as United's representative from Professional Footballers Association (PFA), believed Ferdinand had been unfairly punished before he had been given the chance to explain himself. Ferdinand had urged them not to boycott the match in Istanbul, while Neville cited a phone call with Ferguson as his reason for not walking out. The night before leaving for Turkey, the players released a statement expressing their displeasure at their teammates' treatment. England's packed press conference at Istanbul Ritz-Carlton Hotel the day before the game was dominated by questions about Ferdinand, despite Adrian Bevington, the then managing director of Club England, insisting no inquiries on the topic would be taken. England did get on the plane and succeeded in their task, drawing 0-0 in front of a free-blind Turkey crowd, despite David Beckham missing a penalty. However, the fallout from Ferdinand was far from over. 2 days after the match in Istanbul, Ferdinand, along with his legal team and representatives from the PFA, attended an interview with Steve Barrow, who was the FA head of compliance at the Manchester headquarters of the PFA. He was then ordered to hand over his mobile phone records to the FA. Man United had thrown their weight behind Ferdinand and continued to pick the defender, while even FIFA President Sepp Blatter waded into the debate. He suggested United should be docked points for any matches they won, with Ferdinand in the time since he missed the test. On 29 October 2003, Ferdinand was charged by the FA with misconduct for a breach of Rule E26, which refers to the failure or refusal by a player to submit a drug testing as required by a competent official. Nevertheless, Ferdinand denied the charge. It was announced that his hearing would take place at Bolton's Reebok Stadium on 18th and 19th December 2003. The evidence was heard by a 3-person disciplinary panel: Barry Bright, a retired estate agent from the Kent FA, the Colchester chairman and the chair of FA's medical committee, and Frank Pattison from the Durham FA. Ronald Thwaites defended Ferdinand while Mark Gay led the FA prosecution. Those called included Ferdinand himself, Ferguson, United club doctor Michael Stone, Eyad Perkovic, who was meeting Ferdinand in the city on the day of the missed test, and Bart. After 18 hours of deliberation, the verdict arrived, and it was an 8-month ban for Ferdinand and a fine of £50,000. The room was a blur. I thought I was going to collapse, Ferdinand said. Ultimately, the panel did not believe Ferdinand's claim that he had simply forgotten about the drug test and gone shopping. Stone, the club doctor, and Jason Worthington, the driver of Ferdinand, also gave conflicting evidence about when Stone called the driver on the day of the missed test. However, it didn't help his case. Worthington said this happened at 12:01, but Stone claimed it was not until 1:30 p.m. United were shocked by the severity of the punishment, as the previous player to miss a drugs test was Manchester City midfielder Christian Nguyen, and he had only resulted in a £2,000 fine. That case had also proven controversial, as Nguyen, a practicing Muslim, had been ordered to drink water to facilitate a drug sample despite observing Ramadan at the time. Anti-doping authorities predictably took a different view, as they said it was a fair sentence, with Pound suggesting Ferdinand had dodged the bullet in not being given the maximum punishment of a 2-year ban.